Yeah, and it's interesting. So we have this 7/8 feel going on, but I actually think we've got a 4/4 feel going on with it. So I want to emphasize the 7/8 a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this here. So that cut's going to be more aggressive there. I'm going to do another reverse into this, but this time I'm going to take this so it sounds slightly different. And so this note was on a C. So I'm actually going to put it on like a G. So a C to a G is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones down. So I'm transposing the audio itself 5 semitones down. And I'll just keep, I'll transpose that one too. So now, yeah, a little bit more dramatic. And now we can go, I really liked how that sounded. So I actually want to do something more cinematic and maybe even trailery there. Maybe not here, maybe with the... It's actually a really cool effect. I'm just adjusting the mod wheel and it's letting me do that. It's like a cutoff filter that's being adjusted, I think. Let's see. I want a cinematic sound, but I need it to be... I want it to be a little bit more aggressive. Let's do these toms, which we haven't actually used yet, but on the toms, what I'm going to do is, you guys can't see them on my other screen, but basically I'm going to the channel strip and I'm pulling up an EQ, and I'm going to band pass this essentially by cutting out all the lows and all the highs, and do something. Let's have a little bit more there. Yeah. This is not the big cinematic hit that I want, but I am going to go ahead and I'm going to do it to emphasize that 7. So actually, I think I want to open that up a little bit more. Yep, let's do that. I think that's going to work great. I'm actually going to write it in instead of trying to hear that. So this is step input. If you haven't figured out step input, it's really simple. So it allows you to input the step or input the note at the note value that you want wherever you play it, instead of having to play it in time. So I have it as 8th notes, and that's really helpful because we're in 7/8. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And this note didn't actually do anything. Yeah. We can go ahead and do that. I do still really need a big hit right here. I'll try the Ferrum ones. Yeah, that actually worked really nicely. Yeah, that worked really good. And this is starting to sound very much so like trailer music now, which is just like kind of right up my alley of how I start to write stuff. And these are literally called Ferrum trailer drums. This is the free version, by the way, from Keep Forest. Very, very, very good library. For a free library, you have to have the full version of Contact, but other than that, you're good to go. And then we have this nasty, like, really distorted kit thing. I might experiment with that a little bit later, but I'm trying to come up with basically more pitched elements and interesting things going on. So let's see if we can come up with... The Crotales actually sounded really interesting earlier when we were playing with them. So something like that. Yeah, something like that. That was totally fine. It was more texture than anything else, I think. So you'll notice I played those notes, but they actually didn't do anything. Just gonna drop them an octave because the range stopped. Yep, did the same thing there. It's stopping on the C. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then we've been on this 7/8 section for only like a very short amount of time. But I think, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set bar 1 right here to setting my time code real quick. Nope. So that I know exactly how far into this I'm going. So we're already at like a minute of music, which is crazy. But I think if I'm going to go ahead and add another A section, I think it would be cool to go back to that A section, or even a little C section dropout thing where we could like sit on the dominant or something. Treat it like a piano, which technically piano is percussion, or at least some people would argue that piano is percussion. Let's see. It's actually more difficult in general to write when you have no clear, distinct direction. Okay, a little sci-fi vibe there. Let's start from the top, and I think I have an idea. Yeah, you know what I think we actually need? Is a timpani. But I need like a really beefy timpani. So getting a little bit into sound design stuff, but what if I just like, not there. What if I ran this through like a bass amp? Some of you are gonna think this is crazy, but we're moving into sound design territory anyway, so that's totally fine. So this is guitar rig. I'm gonna, I don't know, genres, rock, dirty studio bass. It's doing a little bit too much actually for me. If I just run it through. Okay. This may have been a terrible idea. It's just not a very beefy timpani, is it? Maybe I don't need to run it through an amp. Maybe the issue is really I'm gonna have to supplement that low end somehow. I'll probably need to have a bass drum on it too. So yeah, and we're going to go ahead and take that. One could argue that we're not even truly in 7/8, we're just in 4/4 with a weird meter being emphasized on top of it. But I think we're close enough. And then to emphasize the beef in that timpani, I'm going to go ahead and add a bass drum real quick. Probably a Wagner bass drum. Big boy. Yeah. It's actually really kind of interesting, kind of an interesting idea. And then if you'll remember, this little thing at the beginning starts right there, starts right before the melodic idea actually comes in. So I think we need a little bit of a B section before this, or a C section, if we will, before this loops. So let's go back into 4/4 proper right here. And let's see if we can come up with something that's really, like, how big and ethereal can we get? So let's take our glockenspiel hits here. And I'm thinking ethereal. So I'm actually going to run these through, actually, you know what? Let's do I have bowed crotales? Crotales hard, crotales bowed. How much range do I have on that? Not the most, but I think we can make it happen. So I'm going to run these through like a crazy reverb. And actually, let's see. It's going to be a really crazy reverb. Wow, that was nowhere near the effect. They're so wimpy. Okay, scratch that idea. What if I duplicate these? So I have another thing of tubular bells, and then run those through a really wacky reverb. I think I want to do it through, it's called Pad Maker though. This idea might be falling flat. Actually don't love this idea. Okay. So instead, let's go to let's bring back our boy marimba and do some like dominant thing. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use step input here. I'm going to go to 16th notes. I actually kind of love that. That was almost unintentional. And by almost, I mean it was definitely unintentional, but I'm here for it. A flat, actually. We're in. Now it sounds like we're underwater. That's pretty cool. We're gonna get weird. I always debate when I'm writing with percussion if I want to get weird or if I want to stay straight. These are eighth note triplets, just outlining that chord. Maybe on the latter half. Nope, I don't like getting weird on this. Let's instead keep it pretty straight. So see if I can treat this almost like a like spiccato strings or something, maybe. Yeah, let's try something like that. So let's do 16th notes here. That's kind of cool. Little ostinato thing going on there. Let's just keep that building something interesting like that. Xylophone will probably come in and do actually a very similar thing above that. Yeah, something like that. Now we got a really interesting idea actually. So let's see if we can get our vibraphone doing something. So this is just standard vibraphone hits. I'd like to have more of like a chord filling idea. Maybe I move back and forth between like a G, like an implied E flat major. Yeah, that was actually also kind of cool. So normally a drum kit actually has like set spots where things are. This is a not exact drum kit. I really want like that sound, and I'm curious if I can make that happen. It's going to be on measure 31. Let's see. Let's just toy around with it. That'd be kind of a cool, like if I was looping it, which I don't think I am, but a lot of 16th note stuff in there. I don't think any of those were true triplets. I think they were. Yeah, and what I would probably want is, you know, just very simple loop that. We could technically bring this loop back. Or, which I like better, is typically on that I would have some kind of hi-hat, right? Like if we're doing pop production or like hip-hop blended cinematic music, which is the area we're definitely getting into here, I would just put in a hi-hat and do like the standard like 16th notes and then roll every other bar or whatever. But it might be interesting to instead have some other kind of loop that's doing similar things. Right. So this is cool. Oh, that actually still has my... So I still have the 8th note delay on that. This is cool, but I want it to sound a little bit synthetic. So I'm actually going to distort it. Now we're getting somewhere, right? And I actually don't want all of those lows in it because I want the kick to be the weird synth kick thing to be what I'm working with down there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Kind of like that. So let's have that come in right on the second time through. So right at 35. Yeah. Quantizing that, and then I actually think I could bring up that mix a little bit more probably. Yeah, so what I'll do here is I'm duplicating this track so I can get that snare sound. This one's going to be more of like the snare. And then this time I want to like really reverb that out though if I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put like, the reverb's going to be part of the effect, not part of the mix on it, right? So right. And I actually want to cut off some of those highs too. And definitely some of the lows as well. Yeah, let's see if I can make that like backbeat happen right there. Something like that. I'm not in love because I think the velocity on this is just making it quieter, not hit less. Yeah, that's okay. And then probably what I would do, let's wrap it up. So I would start to bring this idea back in. So I'd probably recognize that that's that. Right, and then that is where this idea comes back in and the tubular bells come back in. So that is actually going to come in right here, which is going to be that lined up there. And then the second time through, we might just go ahead and like start on something like this. And then bring the tubular bell hits back in. And because it's an A section, bring back the A section. Let's just see if we can end it pretty big. So let's just hold up. I think I put that one wrong. Yep, sure did. So we're going to try to end this pretty big. So if we're ending it pretty big, let's go ahead and just like go all out with the unpitched percussion. I played it wrong. I played it poorly the first time, but I played it wrong the second time, but the first time was good. No, that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and just add that here. I'm gonna put that on like a loop until we're done, basically. So let's just go ahead and bring all the percussion back in. Yeah, just gonna have like the big cinematic percussion there. Quantizing that to that. Yep, quantizing that to that. Yep. Bring that. Shouldn't matter, but Duplicate that a few times. And actually, you know what? I don't want to do the whole thing. Let's just, what we'll do here is just the latter half. Just keep it shorter. Partially because I don't want to program it, but partially because we've already heard this too many times. So we're just doing it here. We're just going to close it out very strongly as much as we can. Probably end with some big hit right there. Yep. I don't like that every time. And so then we did have this sequence loop start right here, which is, I don't even know where that really started. So it really starts here. I think I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that and have that start right here, which is that other one. Right. Now let's see if we can get some other interesting. Yeah, something like that. I'm just adding percussion layers. Those are on top of each other, so one. Yeah. You hear how once you start adding like different rhythms on top of each other, stacking them, you get really interesting grooves phasing in and out. And so that's really a big part of percussion and just rhythm in general. So anything that works, you can just kind of start to stack things. So that's more taikos, but is there any of these I haven't used? Oh, I haven't used the toms in a while. Yeah, let's just, I don't know, something on every other bar or something to fill that space. So like, yeah, great. And those velocities are actually almost working for me, even though I didn't necessarily put them in at that velocity. They're doing something, but it's like ever so faint, so it actually makes the rhythm slightly more interesting. So second time through, I'll probably up these velocities a little bit. Do one big hit at the end here. I'm now going above and beyond of what I expected myself to write, but I'm having fun. It's kind of a cool piece of music.